Alright, in this video we are going to be looking at 2.7, writing linear equations from tables. So we, at our last lesson, learned about our slope-intercept form of the equation, which we again have here, and we learned how our m is our slope and b is the y-intercept. So yesterday we looked, or in the last video we looked at it having a graph and being able to pull out what is the equation given that graph. Now we're going to be given a table and we're going to need to determine what is the equation from that table. So let's go ahead and look at our steps or guidelines that we have here. So it says to find a linear equation we need to find both m and b, just like we did yesterday. So first off, finding our slope, we're going to need to find it from the table using our change in the y over the change in the x. Now the y-intercept, our initial value is going to be is always going to be found when x equals 0. So we can even find that first if we wanted to, but most of the time it's going to be more useful to do the slope first. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so let's find our slope. We need to find the change in y. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to be looking down these y values here, and I'm going to be seeing what is the change. And I want to make sure that my slope is the same between every two given points. So let's see, we have 4 and 9. How do we get from 4 to 9? What is that change? What are we doing? Well, that change is going to be adding 5. If we look again, 9 to 14, that is also add 5. Here, add 5. Here, add 5. So that is our change in y, 5. Well then, what do we do to find the change in x? Well, we do the same thing with the x's. So how do we get from negative 2 to 1? Negative 1? That is a plus 1. To get from negative 1 to 0, that is a plus 1. 0 to 1, also plus 1. 1 to 2, plus 1. So the change in the x values is positive 1. So then our slope is 5. Now we need to go ahead and find our y-intercept. So our y-intercept, just as we said up here, is always found when x equals 0. So to find my y-intercept, I look to when x equals 0. Well, when x equals 0, my y value is 14. So then my y-intercept is 14. And that's all it is. Once I have identified those two things, I can go ahead and write my equation. So my equation, remember, is y equals mx plus b. So then we have y equals 5x plus 14. And there we are. We have found the equation of the line from that table. Alright, so let's go ahead and try another one. So problem B here. We again want to go ahead and look at the change of y over change of x. So my change in my y values, 14 to 12. What is our change from 14 to 12? Well, that is going down by 2, so minus 2. 12 to 10, minus 2. 10 to 8, minus 2. 8 to 6, minus 2. So my change in my y value is negative 2. Let's look at the change in the x values. Negative 3 to 0, what's that change? Well, that is plus 3. It's going up 3. 0 to 3 is also a plus 3. 3 to 6, plus 3. 6 to 9, plus 3. So the change in the x values is positive 3. So what is my slope for this table? It's going to be negative 2/3. Alright, let's go ahead and find our y-intercept again. That is when x equals 0. So I look, here's my x equals 0, that's where my initial value is. So my slope, or not slope in this one, my y-intercept is 12. So then my equation would be y equals negative 2/3 x plus 12. And that one's done. I have found the equation to that table. Alright, let's go ahead and look at those next two problems. there we go. It's moving. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. We're going to go ahead and work out these next two problems. So again, slope, we start by looking at the change in the y values. So what is the change in my y values? 3 to 1, that looks like we're going down by 2 again. 1 to negative 1, yep, minus 2, negative 1 to negative 3, minus 2, negative 3 to negative 5, minus 2. So my change in my y values is negative 2. All right, let's look at my x values. What is the change in the x values? Well, that looks like that should be 1 to 2. Sorry, I got a brain fart for a second. So, but 1 to 2 would be plus 1. 2 to 3 would be plus 1. 3 to 4 plus 1. 4 to 5 also plus 1. So positive 1 is the change in the x values. So what is my slope for this problem? That slope is negative 2. All right, what is my y-intercept? That is when x is equal to 0. Oh, wait a second. I don't have 0 anywhere on my x values. That's okay. We could go ahead and just go backwards. So if I want to go back to 0, so let's say we have 0 here. If I want to go backwards, what would I be doing? I'd be going minusing 1 on this side. And on this side, if I'm going to go backwards, I'm adding 2, or rather, sorry, minusing 2 going that way. So if I want to go backwards, I would add 2. So 3 plus 2 would be 5. So there is my y-intercept. I just went backwards enough to get to my 0. So my y-intercept is 5. And so we can go ahead and write our equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 5. All right, let's go ahead and look at D, and this will be the last one for this video. All right, change in my y from negative 9 to negative 2. Looks like I'm adding 7. From 2 to 5, also adding 7. From 5 to 12, adding 7. And 12 to 19, adding 7. All right, so positive 7 is my change in my y value. What is the change in the x values? 4 to 8, looks like that is a plus 4. 8 to 12, plus 4. 12 to 16, plus 4. 16 to 20, plus 4. So it looks like the change in the x values is positive 4. So then my slope is going to be 7/4. All right, let's go ahead and find my y-intercept. Oh wait, just like the last one, I don't have 0, so I need to go backwards so I can get back to 0. All right, so to go back to 0, I just need to do the opposite of both sides. To get back to 0, I'm going to be minusing 4 on the x side. And on the y side, I'm going to be minusing 7 because I'm going backwards. So 4 minus 4 is 0, so I'm getting back to 0. And then negative 9 minus 7, which should give me negative 16. And so there is now my y-intercept, and I have negative 16 as my y-intercept. So let's go ahead and write our equation. Y equals 7/4 x minus 16. And we have found our equations. So if 0 does not show up on your table, you can always go backwards or forwards, depending on what you need to do. But go ahead and get to 0 with the information that you have for the slope. Okay? All right, so that concludes this video. Thank you for watching.